On November 9, 1913, the 6,322-ton freighter SS Charles S. Price was transporting a load of coal to the port of Fort William, Ontario, when seemingly out of nowhere an enormous storm struck the vessel. Towering waves crashed against the small ship. Hurricane-force winds whipped down the decks, and heavy snowfalls limited visibility to nothing. The storm would later be labeled the White Hurricane. The Price would never arrive at its destination. This is the dramatic story of the freighter Charles S. Price. In 1908, plans were laid out to design two modest steel-hulled bulk freighters for the Mahoning Steamship Company based out of Cleveland, Ohio. The ships would be 504 feet long, 52 feet wide, and 6,322 gross registered tons. The two nearly identical ships would be powered by a single triple expansion steam engine, and the engine would turn one screw propeller. Unfortunately, this meant that if the engine failed, the ship would be left at the mercy of the lakes. The projects were awarded to the American Shipbuilding Company in Lorain, Ohio, soon after the keel and frames were laid down as the ships took place. In 1909, the SS Isaac M. Scott, which was the Price's sister, was launched. About a year later, on May 14, 1910, Charles S. Price was christened and launched into Lake Erie. The ship was then moved to a nearby dock to be fitted out. In the following months, furniture, equipment, machinery, and other fittings necessary for smooth operations were added to the formerly empty hull. Unfortunately, many records of the ship's service life have been lost to the fabric of time. This is what is known. The Charles S. Price was designed to carry cargo such as coal, iron ore, and grain. The freighter departed on its maiden voyage on June 6, 1910, probably carrying a load of coal. Its crew capacity was between 20 and 30 people. Among these crewmen was Captain William A. Black. The Price was considered just another bulk freighter because it conducted the same cargo transporting that many freighters on the Great Lakes at the time were also doing. The beginning of the end for the Charles S. Price began above the Great Lakes. As two storm fronts converge, they create one larger storm commonly called a November gale. The storms are fueled by the relatively warm waters of the Great Lakes later in the season. These storms commonly produce strong winds, towering waves, and blinding snowstorms. In November 1913, a November gale was predicted to hit the Great Lakes. Unfortunately, the weather forecasts were inaccurate as the storm was severely underestimated. To add to the issue, wind conditions were virtually unpredictable. These wind predictions are crucial to allow ships to take shelter or coordinate with the storm to keep on schedule. The same type of storm would later go on to sink ships such as the Edmund Fitzgerald and SS Carl D. Bradley some years later. In early November, the Charles S. Price pulled into the harbor at Ashtabula, Ohio to pick up a load of coal. The ship would then carry the cargo roughly 900 miles to Fort William, Ontario to discharge the cargo. Then, about 5 hours later, the ship left the dockside for another routine voyage. Then, a massive and brutal winter storm came on November 9, 1913, amid Lake Huron. Waves over 30 feet high tossed the ship around like a kid's toy. Winds of 90 miles per hour tore at the decks of the ship. A white fury of snow quickly deteriorated all visibility to nothing. The crew fought valiantly, but it was a losing battle. In the end, the Charles S. Price dropped beneath the waves, taking everybody on board with her. In the aftermath of the storm, it was discovered that not only the Price had been lost, but 11 other ships, including the SS Regina, SS Wexford, and even the Price's sister, SS Isaac M. Scott. In all, over 250 lives were lost to the White Hurricane. As for the Charles S. Price, the wreck was discovered on November 10, 1913, with the bow above the water and stern submerged. Many salvage attempts were made, but all failed, and further attempts were deemed too costly to carry out. The freighter sank shortly after, upside down on the lake bed. Today, over 100 years later, the Charles S. Price is a popular dive site for experienced divers. Thank you for watching this documentary. I hope you learned something new, and if you did, support the channel with a like, or if you want to go a bit further, hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thank you, and I will see you again next time.